Just said that if Benavidez fights the way he fought Andre with you, that he's gonna lose. What? Tú dices de si Benavidez pelea contra Andre como...
David Benavidez locks in on David Morrell, igniting their fierce rivalry with the promise of an explosive showdown. Meanwhile, David Morrell Jr. didn't hold back when Benavidez and Andrade announced their fight. Right away, he dismissed it as a clown circus and made it clear he felt disrespected by not being mentioned as a potential opponent. Morrell viewed himself as the top contender at 168 and believed this matchup was a way for both fighters to avoid facing real competition. His comments were more than just criticism. They were a direct challenge, signaling that until they faced him in the ring, they hadn't truly proven themselves as the best in the division. Previously, Benavidez was ready to face Morrell anytime, although he believed Morrell still needed to build his reputation.
So there's two best fights, me and Canelo, and me and Morrell. They'd be really good fights, bro. I mean, I feel like they have to get his name a little bit bigger, but I mean, I'll fight him whenever. It really don't matter to me. But yeah, that's a great fight.
Benavidez admitted that Morrell is skilled, but was confident Morrell couldn't beat him.
You know, they just fought everybody, you know, and their careers speak for it. So we're just trying to make the biggest fights happen and the best fights happen right now.
Is he too green, too inexperienced to beat you?
I mean, he could have all the experience in the world. He's not going to beat me ever. I don't know. I mean, I don't think he's inexperienced. You know, he's a good fighter. He's been boxing a long time.
But in a surprising twist, it seems Benavidez had a change of heart. After initially dismissing Morrell, he's now fully embracing the challenge, realizing that this fight could solidify his position as the top contender in the division. David Benavidez took to social media to reveal that he might be gearing up for a fight against the WBC regular light heavyweight champion, David Morrell. Benavidez initially hinted at cooking up something big, and later revealed that a matchup with Morrell was in the works. Boxing coach Ronnie Shield confirmed Benavidez is set to fight again this year, but said the details aren't finalized.
I know, nobody's called me about it, so I have no idea.
Yeah. I mean, do you think David has another fight in him this year?
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, he's definitely going to fight this year, you know, again. So, but I just don't know when and where.
Have you guys talked about any potential opponents at all, whether it's Benavidez or not?
No, not yet.
Shields talks about how tough it is for fighters when they move up to a heavier weight class. He points out that both Benavidez and Morrell got some criticism after their recent fights, mainly because people expected more from them. Shields explains that jumping to a higher weight class isn't easy. Fighters like Morrell, who usually compete at around 168 pounds, suddenly find themselves up against guys who weigh around 175 pounds on fight night. And those opponents can actually end up closer to 190-200 pounds after they rehydrate, making them way bigger and harder to deal with in the ring. It's not something you can adjust to overnight. Shields says fans need to give these fighters a bit of time to get used to the difference. One fight isn't enough to show how well a fighter can handle the change. Ronnie added, "It's a great fight, man. Because Benavidez, you know, he brings it. He comes forward, throws a lot of punches. So, you know, my guy, you know, he's a good boxer, but he can fight also. And it'll be a great fight in the middle of the ring." David Benavidez Sr. echoed similar sentiments, noting that Morrell is getting better with each fight. He mentions, every fight he's getting more and more experience, and that Morrell is going to be tough to beat in the future. That's why Benavidez Sr. thinks it's smarter to fight Morrell now. He says, "I'd rather fight Morrell now because I think he's lacking enough experience," emphasizing that they see this as the best time to take him on. He's not saying Morrell isn't good. He actually acknowledges he's a good fighter, and we would love to fight Dav. But the way he sees it, waiting could be a mistake because Morrell's skills are only going to grow. Later on, he's going to get more experience. It's going to be a little bit more difficult, Benavidez Sr. explains, highlighting the urgency of getting this fight done sooner rather than later. However, not everyone agrees with this assessment. Greg Hackett aggressively dismisses David Morrell, claiming he'd be torn apart by David Benavidez. He argues Morrell can't handle Benavidez's relentless pressure, speed, and power, insisting Morrell has never faced anything like him in his career.
Morrell, don't even mention Morrell. What I'm trying to say, pardon me, but he'll rape David Morrell in boxing terms. He'll break him apart. He'll break David Morrell apart, bro. He would kill David Morrell because David Morrell never ever in life seen some shit like that, bro. On a pro stage, that's a different ball game, bro. When you hit somebody and they right back in your face, that mental pressure, that physical pressure, and then they punching behind it. Good speed, good power.
Hackett praises Benavidez, saying he's impressed with how smart Benavidez is in the ring. Hackett points out the little adjustments Benavidez makes that not many people notice, showing that he knows how to break down his opponents. Hackett acknowledges Morrell as a monster, but argues that Morrell hasn't gone up against anyone on Benavidez's level because top fighters avoid him. Hackett added, "If he do it right now, and Ben Benavidez on this high that he on right now, this T's over, guys. I'm telling you, this T's over." Similarly, Robert Garcia sees Benavidez versus Morrell as a thrilling matchup. Though Morrell is relatively inexperienced, Garcia considers him a serious threat, but still favors Benavidez due to his greater experience. He's excited the fight is happening early, with both fighters in their prime.
They're marinated yet, you know, but they're two monsters, like monsters, you know what I mean?
If the Canelo fight's not there, then that's a fight that I would like to see. Definitely, 100%.
With Benavidez, right, the knock on him, what they try saying is, well, he hasn't beat no one. He's bigger than everybody, and that's why he wins, right? That's what they say. Morrell's bigger than David.
Yeah,
I tell people, don't believe that 6'1" stuff that they say on Boxer. He's a legit 6'3".
It'll just be a great fight because Morrell has great power, great. You know, he's hungry. He wants to be huge in boxing. So I really think it'll make it a good fight. I still pick Benavidez.
Garcia talks about Cuban and Mexican boxers. He says Cuban fighters usually have the upper hand in the early rounds because they're fast and have solid amateur backgrounds. But Mexican fighters tend to shine in the later rounds, especially after the 6th, because of their endurance and their focus on body shots. When it comes to rivalries, Garcia thinks the classic Mexico versus Puerto Rico rivalry is still the biggest one. He doesn't see Mexico versus Cuba becoming that major because Cuban fighters don't have as many fans in the US, and boxing isn't as big in Cuba due to restrictions. Adding to the debate, Edgar Berlanga discusses the potential fight between David Morrell and David Benavidez, predicting Benavidez would win due to his greater experience, aggressiveness, and higher punch output. He acknowledges Morrell's strengths, but believes Benavidez's conditioning and overall skill set would give him the edge in the matchup.
Last question, actually. Would love to kind of know, David Morrell, David Benavidez, both been chirping back and forth, man. If they was to fight, who would you pick in that one, man?
I got Benavidez.
Any reason why?
There's more experience. I feel like he's more elusive. You know, he's more aggressive. He just throws a lot of punches, and he's in good shape too. So I think, but overall, it's gonna be a great fight. I think, you know, Morrell's not gonna back down. You know, and he's a southpaw too, so that's gonna be I think play a big factor in the fight.
However, Bob Santos acknowledges David Benavidez's impressive skills and versatility. Santos confidently positions Morrell as the standout fighter who could redefine the sport.
You never want to try to compare people too much because sometimes, you know, LeBron James gonna be the next Michael Jordan, so on and so forth, and maybe I'm guilty of that too because I was like, David Morrell's gonna be another Roy Jones Jr., right? But I do believe that. I think he's a superior talent. I think he's head and shoulders above everybody else. I think David Benavidez is a tremendous fighter. I mean, the first time I ever seen him, and he was working out, and I was fortunate enough to be around him and his father while they were training and be brought into one of his camps. I was like, wow, this guy's like a savant. He could just do everything.
Bob Santos dives into David Benavidez's boxing skills, pointing out that Benavidez isn't just about raw power or pressuring opponents. He's got real boxing skills, like a solid jab and the ability to outsmart rivals in the ring. Santos then shifts focus back to Morrell, saying he favors him over Benavidez because Morrell has some physical gifts that are hard to match. He really talks up Morrell's athleticism, calling him the most athletic guy at 168 and 175 pounds since Roy Jones Jr. Bob even jokes that if Morrell wasn't in the ring, he'd be playing center field for the Yankees or starting as a safety for the Dallas Cowboys. He sees Morrell as a rare kind of athlete who loves to fight and has a crazy good amateur background. Santos added, "You talk about like a guy, give an analogy, a Peyton Manning in football who's a chevron. He looks at the defense. People don't realize how smart David Benavidez is. Very, very smart. I mean, I watched him in the ring making adjustments and just he's a savant." Former pro boxer Paulie Malignaggi suggests that a fight between Benavidez and Morrell at 168 lbs would pressure Canelo Alvarez and shake up the division's rankings. However, if they fight at 175 lbs, the matchup loses appeal, and both Benavidez and Morrell might need more experience before challenging top contenders like Beterbiev or Bivol.
Paulie, what do you make of this matchup here between David Benavidez and David Morrell?
You know, it's a matchup that's solid. The weight class that happens, that really matters to me. You know, if are they going to stay at 175? I think if they're going to fight each other, they might as well make it at 168 and keep their foot on Canelo's neck, you know, and make it more obvious that he's ducking either one of them. If they make the fight at 175, it has less luster. It's still a good fight. To be honest, I think both guys could probably use 1 or 2 more fights at 175 before they take on the winner of that monster fight between Benavidez and Bivol. But at 168, first of all, if they fight at 168, this would show that they can both still make 168, and they're more than willing to make 168 for the right fights. It would change around our entire 168-pound rankings, which we did.
Similarly, former pro boxer Chris Algieri emphasizes that David Benavidez is focused on building a legacy rather than chasing money. He praises Benavidez for taking on challenging opponents like Morrell, showcasing smart career moves. Chris adds that a fight at 168 lbs would shake up the division and put pressure on Canelo Alvarez.
They're all about the smoke. They want to fight everybody. Who's the best fight around that's available to me right now? That's David Morrell. That's what he's thinking. That would be get him the furthest in his career. I think he's thinking smart. He's been thinking smart for a while. He's been moving smart, I believe. Benavidez, instead of trying to wait around for Canelo and let his career escape him, he's still taking on the fights. The Andrade fight, he moved up to 75 and took Gvozdyk on. Gvozdyk was not an easy go by any means. Very, very tough fighter, former champion, very, very talented guy. Yes, a little long in the tooth by the time David fought him, but it was his first fight at 75. So I really like the way that Benavidez is moving.
Meanwhile, Benavidez's long-standing pursuit of a fight with Canelo Alvarez at 168 has hit roadblocks, with Canelo continuously avoiding the matchup. Alvarez claims that a fight with Benavidez doesn't add to his legacy, but Benavidez argues that avoiding the top contenders tarnishes his status as champion. Their ongoing back and forth highlights the complexities of boxing politics and the fight for recognition at the top of the division. Canelo Alvarez is straight up saying he's not ducking David Benavidez. It's all about the cash and the legacy. Canelo made it clear that a fight with Benavidez doesn't really boost his legacy, but if a big money deal comes his way, he'd definitely be down to take it. For him, it's all about the dough and what it means for his career.
You know, I always back everybody and fight. I have legendary fights, you know, Poro, Golovkin, but they bring me something to the table. So they bring me legacy to the table. So I'm talking about that, you know? And I know you guys always want to put, if I beat Benavidez, you want to put other fighter there. And like I say, if the money is right in that special fight, because, you know, he don't bring me legacy, he don't bring me anything.
Meanwhile, Canelo Alvarez recently slammed David Benavidez for his lackluster performance against Alexander Gvozdyk, proving his animosity against the Titan David Benavidez. Canelo commented, "I think that's his weight class 175 lbs, and you can see he's very different. He can't do nothing with a fighter who retired in 2019. It's different when you're in your weight class and fighting with guys in your weight." David Benavidez didn't hold back when addressing Canelo's comments, emphasizing that a true champion fights the best. He criticized Canelo's reluctance to face either him or Morrell, questioning how Canelo can continue to call himself the champion without taking on the top contenders. David Benavidez weighed in on why Canelo should take him on, saying, "At the end of the day, if you hold all the titles, you've got to fight the best in the division. I'm the #1 contender, and the second guy is David Morrell. Canelo isn't fighting either of us, so how can he call himself the champion?" David Benavidez made some controversial comments about Canelo Alvarez, suggesting that the best version of Canelo, the one known for his knockout power, was on steroids. Benavidez's remarks cast doubt on Canelo's past performances and raised questions about his achievements during that period.
When the greatest Canelo came out, the one that you guys seen that fought Triple G the first time, bro, dude popped dirty for Clenbuterol, bro. Why do you think the second fight didn't happen? So for me, seeing that was the best Canelo I've ever seen. But that was Canelo off of steroids. Everybody else that he's fought, he fought Amir Khan, he fought Daniel Jacobs, he fought, what the f is his name? Billy Joe Saunders, Caleb Plant. These guys are all weak, bro.
Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed this breakdown of the heated rivalry between David Benavidez and David Morrell, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more updates on the latest boxing news. Let us know in the comments who you think will come out on top if these two finally clash in the ring.